Like today, it's Emilian Victoria, Emilian here, and it's 2021 on the 18th of March. I want to start back sharing some message, and I realized that today I didn't get any message, and I just listened to the video I upload, and all my thoughts, with no edit, I start to realize I didn't do the video of the dream completely. I didn't relate the dream completely, so basically, I'll say the dream, and if God doesn't stop my lips, I'll continue and say what the dream means. Because in the past days, I remember when I started and I wasn't sure how to do this, God used to tell me some directive that I used to never follow, very few follow. And of course, if you don't follow the directives of God, especially the good directive, there's gonna be some downfalls. And shortly it did happen to me. I spoke too much, I spoke too length, and so he told me between 10 and 15 minutes videos. I did it too long. It told me 2 max a day. I did it too long. It told me a lot of things, even at one time to wait. So let's go back to this dream that happened two nights ago. I slept 2 hours, by the way. I woke up, and let's get back to the dream, okay? I'll tell a little bit at the end what it is. So, for people who want to know, in this dream, I was drunk and going on what do you call this? You just the platform, tight platform, and the steels, like you got fire exits, staircase, and then you walk on this platform. And I was up in a building. And by the way, now the dream I walked there, I was alone, I was drunk, and some lady. I looked back and there was a lady there, and she had like a few bags, and they were black. They were all clothes, and she said, "I got this for you." And I looked down, and on the floor they were there. There were groceries bags, and they were black. I'll say what, and then she says, "I brought this for you." And I'm thinking, okay, groceries bag. I thank her. I knew enough to think. I thank her. I did this 90 degrees, a few steps, and before I arrived home, and then I knew I was um, on the first window. One time, I follow and somebody somebody. I went with somebody, and that person had this in this kind of building, this first room. They have those windows, and this dream, I believe that I was like Jackson Pollock, drunk, because I did mention in the first video that it was like in those movies I saw about artists, and I said New York for the fire state because it's up. And one time I went there somewhere in Toronto, but then I just left within like 5-10 minutes. That person that I just met trying to be friend didn't work out really, and I think she was somewhere and nothing. I just like and I just left and but anyways, let's go back to the gym. So I do this, but before I arrive home, 1-2 steps, there's a second person there. I think it was another woman or somebody, and I knew enough to share, so I knew enough to give, and suddenly I see a screen and it's dark, and there's this dark face in the middle, and he seemed like Jesus with long hair, a little bit straight. And I say in French, Jésus est l'enfant de Dieu, which means Jesus is the Son of God. And the guy's like, and not too impolite, but just like, yeah, and discarding, looking a bit to his right. And I say, are you? And I believe this means I cannot say it, so I'm gonna pass it. If you understand, you understand. If you don't, I'm sorry. So, but I shouldn't be sorry. Yeah, this background is not mine. I'm a guest in this place, so I think I know better. But anyways, without judging nobody, um, so I say, "Are you?" And then I'm thinking, because I pray God, I say, some dreams, if it's not for you, I don't want, and I started to go back to church. I spoke about this in the first video, so I was praying harder and harder for God to enlighten me on those, and if I have to share or not, because there were some pretty creepy message I share, and I start to understand. I was a bit blind. I got hit in the face, and I put a patch. I seen better, but there's an operation. Maybe the swallowing inflammation made me, blind, and it affects my move of the eyes, thing, a lot of things, and couldn't read, couldn't even learn. And I was a painter, so anyways, even artist, I was a painter. It was just like hell. One misjudgment that one night when I was young, I did something bad. I tried to do the unforgiven, and it bite me back that day. And by the way, I wanted to say, look how I fell downfall. I had a dream. I was young, and I didn't went on top. And suddenly I woke up. Big alarm woke me up. I'm thinking now, conflict. And I woke up, and this is the first dream I remember. I was between 5 and 8. It was terrifying. I mean, I just woke up. I was not terrified, but I woke up. What's the word? A bath with big eyes, like almost like I think I saw one movie in a movie. Shocker. When I grew up, it's not important, but the guy has a nightmare, wakes up all sweaty. I was not sweaty. I was young, but I remember that. Not a big dream. I won't talk about everything, but in this dream that I just spoke, I say, "Are you?" And I'm thinking about God, because the Jesus, are you? And say it. And he said, Jesus is the son. Jésus est l'enfant. In French again. De. It does 2 seconds. Merde. And I believe today. I thought, you know, that because I spoke in the past, the son of Megan Clark. Jésus l'enfant de merde. I want to explain something here. There's always two sides of the same coin. It's not because I'm not racist. It's not because he's black, one parent black or not. It's not his background, royal parent, and what I even don't say that. For me, it's God. What I mean is that one time I've seen, I don't see a lot of dreams of other people, but somebody said that in the end times he had a dream and there was like trashes. And you see a lot of things tend to that will come in the future tend to be even um, in Hollywood made. I call this almost prophecies of the devil. He knows what's gonna happen because he has his control here in some kind of way, right? We know this. It's a test here. If you want power, you gotta be greed, or not necessarily, but a lot of people. That's why royal were good, because God gives it. You don't have to fight and do dirty things to get there by greed, by mass murder, by anything, or murder, entanglements. You're there. It's accepted. It put people also, why it was not me. So they accept and learn how to accept. Well, then they start to learn more about, instead of rebellion and always being greedy and abortionist and me to all cost, even stuff like killing their own children in their womb, so they can get they think they might get maybe 10,000, what do I know, more a year. So to go back to this dream, I say, "Are you?" Say it, and he says, "The Megan Clark, why?" I won't talk. I heard to not say it. Why in the dream that I saw, but it makes me think that, and we can think that a lot of people will think that is going to be almost like this prophecy, but not prophecy. But some people say that Jesus is black, this trend, or because they feel oppressed and they say Jesus is black, Jesus. Well, what does it matter now? I mean, if he was Jewish, I look at a Jewish person, that they looked at most of it. It's not important. I mean, they don't. It's not important what color they are. Are they black? Like, what's this stuff like? I understand that for some people, there's this there might be an oppression, but I'm not talking about this right now. You know, I think it's two things here. You know, don't say God. Oh, why God? Why God are you white? Like, God can be whatever it is. Like, if you're black and you don't want to be white, I guarantee you can be white. Michael Jackson did it. And if it doesn't bother you, then it doesn't bother you. Now, some people say, well, yeah, but society with the background and the slavery and all this, it did happen. And there's prejudice. Okay, but what's has nothing to do with God here. And if you say, no, 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 people said God was white and it came, no, it didn't came like this. I mean, what do I mean, what it's two different things. Like, if you really talk about God at that time, you should know better about God. Like, God is good. God is not racist. Um, it did something, in my opinion, why black people are black or this color dark. Because God told me, see black as white. He told me many times. One time he told me, um, I got B, like I got attacked and I start to generalize a couple of times. There's a lot of black person here in Toronto, and I start to generalize. I said, why never been crushed a bottle in the face suddenly by a white person, and why a black did it to me, one or try to do like this, like why they would try to cut somebody's face, like who does? And I start to generalize. Well, after the first month passed like this, I turned back to God again, and He healed that little races that came to me. Wanted to join the even the army. I was like revenge, kind of not revenge, but the style. I don't trust nobody, and it might happen when somebody dies in the family. Somebody lost his mom. Like I've seen one and he goes back, he goes, upset in the army. What I know from the scriptures before going back to the dream is, I'm gonna mix a bit here with some preaching, is that don't be shocked. It's we know that Cain, not the CIA, Cain, not the cocaine, Cain. Okay, he killed his brother. Right? He was a worker man physically. The other guy was more a shepherd. He was more like dreamer kind of way. It was more like an artist today, but not the sellout artist. They were like shepherd, right? So more easygoing. The other guy maybe had more like fixation on the. It was more physical. We all different, but we are the same. Because example, those two brothers, if they were too strong and not thinking, this body, this family doesn't support itself just like your body. Imagine you have four hands, but you don't have arms. What's the use? So you have two arms, but similar. One was strong, could help the other one, and one was so. But he became jealous. There was an offering of God. I don't want to go through all this right now. It's a bit of back of my mind myself. But he killed his brother. And then God, he said, you're gonna go everywhere, you're gonna work, but you're not gonna put fruits. So he became dark. He put a mark on it, and this mark, I read it another saint, God revealed that this mark generation to generation, just like there were more sin on earth. When Adam and Eve and all this, there was no sin, there was no worms, there was no bad bugs, creatures. All this was this environment. Just like if there's an atomic bomb today, it's gonna be more disgusting here. Viruses, even chemical, God forbid. These kind of things change the environment. You've seen the movie Departed, and we are product of our environment, and then some good cops go there and they're like, well, this is a game, what's the difference if I work my butt off and for a couple grand while the big hot shots there and they some are corrupt or and they can make more, and so what's the use? And they like turn the other, instead of turning the other cheek, they turn the other eye and they say, well, I'll grab 5K there, I'll grab some money, and they become some corrupt. So it has to come sometimes from Hopper for the other ones to be more corrupt down. But this is more political stuff. But what the brother, he killed his other brother, this more became larger and larger to generation and generation. Maybe it was a mole, a little mark, so it became bigger. So is this skin harder, close more like a sign, like hard? But at the beginning, when the king said, "Hey, I'm gonna have a mark," and he said, people's gonna kill me. They're gonna see me cursed, like I'm working in the land, and it doesn't give nothing, and I go from place to place, and imagine the other ones. They see him, he has a mark, maybe it was on his forehead, who knows, like, what is this? Nobody had marks, you know. I had personally a mold, but and more than one, but I did some removal, but that's personal stuff. So the problem is there's no problem in there. God told me close my eyes after I got attacked, and he healed. He said, "What do you see?" And I say, what's it's nothing. No, well, close it, like, and I open to close again. What do you see? And I said, black. He said, or what is it like this again? And he said, well, see black as white. So it was simple like this, because you have to understand that also some people that talks. I'm not gonna go too much, but to finish my thoughts, they use that whatever the to other ends. Like they're really upset about society, and they'll use that excuse to just yell at somebody. I'm not saying there's not racist in there, but some people use uh, some points, some dots for other dots, and that's very bad. That's why there's gonna be judgment on God. There's always two sides of the coin, and some people, I'm telling you, some people have been spying even on people, on children of God, to do bad things. Some people have spied on the children of God even uh, for their own gains. We can think about the Jews, uh, and I'm not at this time kill Jesus. Even today, some of them, unfortunately for them, and for the corruption, some of them don't even to this day recognize that he is the Messiah, and it's over my mind. Why would they not recognize? Because the prophets have spoke. And again, I'm not against the Jews. I just don't understand why would they not be proud of having Jesus as their Messiah. We live here in Anno Domini too. Why? Because they killed. Yeah, but be more even so proud. I mean, what's my point here is that don't think because your ancestor killed Jesus that might be the Messiah, that even in the book said he's going to be hurt, the Lamb of God. Don't you know that to be rightfully ruler over somebody while we suffer and he's better than us, don't you think that he's going to have to suffer more than us so he can reign and we say, yes, you deserve it? Yes, I accept. Because otherwise, if there's a king comes here, you suffer, I suffer, you suffer, he suffers, and we suffer more than him, and then in the future, for eternity, Jesus will rule, or this king of the Jews will rule, or the king of the earth and the Gentiles, and we'll say, well, okay, what's the point? I suffer more than him when I no, it doesn't work like that. So he did suffer in exchange. What happened? Well, he was offered even by the devil everything, and he refused it, and he took his cross. Imagine how he endures even people and their stupidity. He said to not say stupid, but imagine all this lies and this ridiculous, when we say ridiculous, over and constant and even plotting against them. Well, if you're Jews, I read it, I accept it, saying, yeah, uh, they kill him, but you have to understand that they would have killed anybody. I mean, they would have killed even if it was another country. Like God choose it could have been, let's say, X, Y, Z, let's say Polish, let's say Iran, any country, and then their own people would have fulfilled the prophecy of killing Jesus. Now, if you deny this, you keep crucifying, you keep denying the light. But if you accept it, you don't take part in that, you know. And don't separate the world like the church has been separated. You know, she still feels separate to this day. And there's the East Church Orthodox, and there's the Catholic Church. And the apostle got separate, okay. And the Catholic Church is the great church, but it's not easy for everybody. And there's been, of course, infiltration, of course, corruption. It's always been there in the story of man. Unfortunately, it looks like man is a big sinner here, and his heart is corrupt. Jesus spoke about this. So what happens is that uh, since the schism, what was that state? In the past century, 14th century, whatever, 12th something. Even to this day, we see it. We see it with we see the CIA, the sign, all right, even inside, and it's good. Jesus would see Russia with the Orthodox, and they separated, not with fornication, not because they're not like Jews or like Americans Jews or like circumcision. I didn't want to say Americans Jews, but like Catholics and circumcision, they need to go in the dark a little bit, not in the dark, but and take that skin off, so to speak. Um, I'm not talking about some people who just became unsexualized with bad stuff and drugs, and so you need that place, otherwise it itch if you don't take that skin off. It has to breathe, especially. So, well, it depends, maybe after a while, but it can itch, right? um, the humidity there, I don't know, so bacteria, whatever it is, or the not really bad. So what happened is that with Russia, all this, and some people call it macho, whatever. It's not this. It's like if they're not circumcised, and then the problem is that when they don't have the Virgin Mary, this conflict, the church is separated, and that's this proudness, like proud. But the Virgin Mary, that's why we're talking here that there has to be a union of this church, and whatever who split it, what corrupt, whatever it was another religion, um, eh, whatever that helped this separation, or maybe in the East they say, no, no, I want the power, and they separate that church. No, we live in the time of the church, and the time of the church is the time of Jesus Christ. Whatever happened, and that's why it's bad at the end. Now the church has lost this. Uh, And even now you see with two popes, the corruption and pedophilia, that's the accusation, the scandal, like Jesus. Now we're in the end times. And before the resurrection, I believe some bad things, unfortunately, will be fulfilled here. Unless if you want to forget the chastisement, it will need a big miracle. Like it will need the church to be unified. It will need this. I believe there's several calls of Fatima when the sun almost fell down. That's a sign, like war, end of times. Around 10, 20, 30,000 was in the news, even New York papers, whatever. Everybody, they came with umbrella, and suddenly the dance of the sun, the miracle. And they were not corrupt as today. Why I'm saying corrupt as because today, if something happened like this, I don't know if you can hear it so much. But today it seems like it's only a couple hundred years, not even 100 years, 1917, what was it? We don't hear about it so much. If something without God would have happened that magnitude, even an illusion with 30,000 people, even to this day, this would be probably the devil would have put this. Probably we would have heard this as much as the movie Jaws. But I guarantee you, there's people know more about the a delirium. Well, I'm saying delirium because it's they call it heart. I don't fart. It's not. You know what I mean? What delirium? There's a poet Rimbaud. He said delirium, and it's like artists. They go not the church. They not go right. They just it's like crazy. They invent the story, and it's a delirium. That's why artists take drugs. It's a delirium. You know, a new way to paint this form. It's their delirium. It's like a crazy. A lot of artists people. They're blind, they're just crazy, they talk, they don't want to listen, and people who work, they look sometimes at those and they're like, well, he's creative but he's a bit, well, they don't even know what's going on. They just, so what I mean is that they might be more children, but they have to think also, these artists, you know, a lot of them, they become so much corrupt, and that's why they think, you know, they're like so much like they're so blind. They're like a narcissist, and they're blind. They don't even know, uh, like my brother, to wash him or stuff in the house because they become so narcissist. And if this proudness and this narcissist, it's not good, man. I point a finger at somebody, but it happened to me too. You become blind. You think you're the king, and you pass. You don't even understand little things, and they think they're gonna write big books, and they don't even have understand some workers what he does, you know, serving something and saying thanks. So you gotta be in equilibrium to go back in this dream. Okay, this guy started to choke me. I said, "Are you?" Say it. And Jesus is the son of man, and he choked me. And maybe this guy was even racist. Maybe one of my past, but it, I can't say something. I don't know if it's not the spirit that doesn't want me to say a lie or say in the future. Again, I saw a video about this, but this guy choked me, and while I was choked, you know, remember I said that unfortunately I try the unforgiven. So this is what happens. You're gonna die how you try to kill or you kill somebody. This is how you're gonna die. I've seen it one time. I pray again. Again, I'm gonna do a parenthesis. I say, God, I try to be a hot shot. I've seen that somebody prayed to die and I did the same, and I got choked. And I saw the light in the tunnel, but at the last second, I just woke up. I wanted to be still alive. I was a young man. It's like 15 years ago. I was maybe 25. I'm not suicidal. I never try. Uh, and I never tried. I think I faked once, but it was not really long. It was just like a sense of pictures and painting and whatever. I was just discouraged that people will not recognize I was an artist, but I will never do such a things. I lived with pain for like 20 years, but I don't judge people that are in crisis like this. Um, but if it's people, some people do this because they hurt. Because of some people, was if people are so important to you, go and be joyful with some people. If you're depressed, you know, if I would say to those people, I'm making too much parenthesis here with this preaching, but I saw one guy he killed himself and he was crying that his girlfriend left him and his friend and he was still talking, Mom, I love you, and then he killed himself. I saw this recently and I'm thinking to him, buddy, there's other people like you. Find a friend. and or I was thinking to tell him that if you feel let down by some people, like a girlfriend, but that person didn't deserve you. Because if you have this capacity to be in love, that means you can have a family, and that person is not at that level to love. And if that person cheat and go and don't care, that person doesn't deserve you. You gotta see it that way. You know, don't see it. Say to yourself, if that person leaves you after, I think, 2 years, it's almost like if they would have lived you after probably a day or two. I generalize a bit, and this is the problem of not communicate, not having God and having the church between. Because if you have the church between some people like this in a relationship, you will see this afar, and you will arrange and communicate, or if not, you know, it will not hurt because you will not get intimidated unless you marriage, and then people will try to resolve through marriage some problems. Okay, then the marriage became to some guys that started to imprison some woman with marriage and abuse, and it was not seen to. But no, a woman, if could have put a letter for even in the Bible to split if the guy was even a guy was cheating or I believe beat up, of course, but you have to talk. Just like if you rape, you have to talk. Otherwise, you're gonna have a problem in your head. Once your own body wants to be intimated with somebody and you didn't talk, you're gonna have a problem like this. And you're gonna have guilt because if you don't denounce somebody that rapes, that person will probably continue, and they might continue, and you have this now on your own conscience. You're contributing, and then if you talk later, uh, they might call you even a liar, and you're gonna have a problem. They're gonna say, "Ah, you lie," and until then, you're gonna have problem in your head. I think I have a lot to say, but go back to this dream. It seemed like I say he choked me, and just before that place, the second person I share the gift. I say it's good that you stopped me, otherwise, and I see back this place after I pass the groceries, and I see two bars black, and I say I would have, but I didn't finish. I thought to myself when I woke up, and I say I would not have. When I looked after the bars, almost it's a rewind and say remember. And I have a lot to think about this, but I won't say what it is. But it speaks, and then again the guy up here, the test, are you in French? Jésus est l'enfant de la merde. And then he chokes me. He choked me, and then when he choked, I pray Jesus after 5 seconds. That's how people sometimes they die. But anyways, even in their sleep. So he chokes me, and Jesus, because it's real, you feel it. The heart can take so it feels. You don't know it's a dream. You just feel it. And Jesus, after I call him, I saw two thoughts that I had during that choke, and I could enter in those thoughts because maybe I was strangled. So I almost saw an invisible path like this, and one of them was like, I don't want to be like this in the future. And I was thinking, having crisis. And I think now it's, when you read the Bible, you see there's some, I don't want to point fingers, okay? I don't want to cause any distress if you have some shake. That's why in the Bible they say that Philip, some people that had some shakes like this and falling in them or whatever. Uh, they call it some epilepsy measures or some things like this. So I believe that if you know that at the point you're guilty and you try to move away from God and live around your surroundings, like I had this thing there, and with a sin that you accept, you have this dilemma in you. And so I was thinking, I don't want to have those crises in the future, because in the dream I was thinking I cannot breathe. Maybe these guys have difficulty to breathe. It's almost like that's why in the past they were saying possessed. It can be with several different reasons. Like me, I was choked. I don't know if it's a sexual. It can be for any reason. That's why they say something. I've seen one time. I think somebody. I was living in a house and he took a shower close to the room I was rented. I didn't know he was there, and I heard bang bang bang. I go out. I was painting art or something, and the guy was and look at me. And I've seen that some things can trigger things. And at that time, I think while I was reading the Bible, so who knows what but the feeling that he looked at me like almost like I took him away. In these eyes, they were like eyes of a victim. They were eyes of a victim, like somebody was taking an attack and he couldn't do otherwise. That's why they say possessed. So it comes from somewhere. Somebody's doing that to him. So you can certainly dissect what God say, and you shouldn't even dissect. You shouldn't even open, in my opinion, the brain. That's disgusting. You have a problem. You have a mental. You should see a shrink, like or a priest to say a joke here. It's disgusting, and you're possessed. It's disgusting. Just the smell and the thing. It shouldn't be there. God made us up. We can heal things without touching the inside. If you cannot do it, that means you don't have the power with God like Jesus did it. If you have to go through and try the inside, I'm telling you, that's the devil who does this. And you're possessed with some devils of that, you know? Or maybe that's not the will of God. You're trying to take a different approach. Well, I was thinking today, operation I went to see, some, I did it before. And can I ask God to heal me? I did. Did it work? Well, it's right now. I mean, I never feel better than 20, 40 years. I could not even talk. It was like almost having a Bell palsy. Could not read, could not study. So I'll see. I'll see. I'll take this opinion. I don't guarantee. Maybe I'll try to go work physically, and if I see it's too much, well, maybe just in case in the future I'm more active. But I don't know. So we'll see what the experience will bring. Well, I'll pray for that. So God enlighten me on this. So I got choked. I'm thinking it's like the sign yesterday, the sign of a Freemasonry. Are you? And and I didn't say God and the choke, and then I say Jesus. That's why I'm saying this. After I don't want to be like this. Finally, a finger touched me here, and it was a finger of God for me. Because now you can think it can be a trickery of the devil trying to for me to exchange this for other and stuff and put me. But I listen, it got power up, like it the touch became like this, and I felt relief, and obviously it went out. But why I'm thinking this, I'm gonna tell you why. I slept 2 hours, and I was after studying 16 hours or so, intense. I slept 2 hours. When I woke up, I was a bit tired, but I thought, did I miss my appointment? But it was in the same night. Like I went to sleep at 3, I woke up at 5. I was thinking if I passed like the 11 a.m. the next morning, like when I looked, or 9 p.m., whatever it was, I said, was it 9 a.m.? And I was a bit tired, so I stayed a bit in bed. I'm like, oh man, did I miss the appointment? So one time I saw God in my life, and if you're touched by some good power, I think, like or enlightenment, when a good, I think it does you good. Unless this could be But I doubt one more trick up his sleeve the devil could try to me, because recently, like God, I've seen even in a dream it says, "Oh, I was testing the spirit." Well, you gotta test by prayer, not only by testing with experience, because if the devil is manipulating some experience and you're trying to test this, you might be in the wrong way for a year or 6 months and you don't even know it. So it's important. That's why they say when you get a dream, pray about it. You're gonna save all that time you're trying and suffer for it if it's the devil playing you. But again, they can be too me. I had a difficulty, or I was slow to see or something. Well, first of all, when you share, it's in a dream that I received that I didn't share that. I'm not gonna say the scenery. So also the fruits it brings, but also when you see it, Catholic Church, even or some mystic have a different approach, right? I mean, not different approach, but the visions. I'm not gonna say too much. This video is long, but the different kind of visions. And so, when I was reading this, it means also the aspiration of that person. You know, if that person think about making money and got some vision, maybe that doesn't come with God, because God told me I give life, not money. So you gotta understand that doesn't mean you cannot work. You should earn your own money. God's gonna give you. It depends what He needs from you. You know, if He needs for 10 Christians for you, and He says, "Well, this guy I'm gonna give money. This guy is not gonna have because there's already poor in the world. There's gonna be poor in the church." But that doesn't mean that the family, the guy who works, has to share. And usually, a lot even today, you see a Christian will not share. Well, then not only the Christian will not suffer, but it goes farther. That person that doesn't share is going to become cold and maybe in danger. The poor is going to become maybe even more poor and sick and start to curse his brother. Well, my Christian, they don't even share Jesus. And that person, that's maybe cannot even be rich, because I mean, unless he follows God, but he'll keep be poor, but he's gonna be rich in the future, but at least happy in this world. For some people, it is given, I believe, to have money. You see, some people different kind of jobs, but that's why you gotta share with the other one. If and the case in the Christian, if they don't share, not only those two, but because we're connected, the whole world, and if the church is not going good, it's not going good at all. There's a problem. Just look at it. This was true Pope. What's going on? You think that God cannot give strength to one? There's no resignment in popes, and something is, uh, to say the least, something is not right. It doesn't sound funny to me, and you know, having two popes is like saying that God cannot give the power to sustain a pope. And then you can say, yeah, but the world is so bad today. You need one that gets connect more. And well, why is this the one had no energy no more? Obviously, it's because there's so much bad people around. It's like you. If you, for some people of you, they're clean, or let's say, are you dirty? You don't go to with the other people. If the church is so infiltrated, and this poor good pope, for me, I love him. Ratzinger, Joseph, what I should call him with his pope name, Benedict XVI, traditional and wise man, and trying to build and knowledgeable, and he's the seat of Saint Peter. And I'm not saying it's perfect, but he's the one chosen. Maybe nobody was more fit in his shoes, and then you suffer. See, you see, it's like Jesus would not hang hang around and parties. It will make him like allergic. It's not the same environment. It's not fitting. and maybe the guy couldn't no more. Maybe bad people were too much around him. But that opened up that I don't want to point fingers. I'm not gonna finish what I'm saying. Um, Mostly it says to forgive. And when you learn that we're all connected, that's why it's important to forgive, because that person that does something wrong to you, it might go more in the surrounding where it comes from. It might be a general family and Christ problem, So that's why even God said God knew that things cannot be uh, right, especially without Him. Okay, I mean, but that's part of letting us be free. I'm just gonna add something here. I want to do a prayer, shortly prayer, not for us, not for me, because just to give up to this long preaching, to give something back to God, and I'm gonna do this instead of cutting short the video. I'm gonna do this by praying to God. Right? So I'm gonna give and thus I'm gonna explain after the prayer. We're we're giving glory to God, and by asking you, God, can you please come in our hearts and make tender our hearts by forgiving us our dirty sins in the name of your dearly beloved Jesus Christ that died on the cross for me and you and all in the world. Amen. Amen. Go in peace.